Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into our brand new tier list for Marvel Rivals, fresh off the Season 3.5 update that dropped on August 8th, 2025. This patch shook things up big time. Balance changes, meta shifts, and a few surprising heroes climbing the ranks. We've been grinding matches, testing out different playstyles, and keeping an eye on what's dominating the battlefield. So if you've been wondering who's ruling the meta right now, you're in the right place. Now, before we jump into the rankings, remember, this isn't about forcing you into one must-play hero. Sure, we'll highlight the top picks for dominating in the current season, but the real fun comes from finding a hero that matches your personal style. Whether you're a Russian and Smash type, a careful sniper, or someone who just likes causing chaos for the enemy team, there's a spot for you here. Alright, let's break down who's sitting at the top of Marvel Rivals Season 3.5. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking heroes in Marvel Rivals. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The heroes in this tier are in order from top left to bottom right: Adam Warlock, Magik, and Black Widow. Alright, picture this. You are in the middle of a match, things are getting messy, and your team says, "We need a strategist," but you do not want to sit in the back and babysit everyone with constant healing. This is where Adam Warlock swoops in like a sparkly cosmic wildcard. He is technically a strategist, but instead of just keeping your team alive, he links their souls together and starts blasting the enemy like a duelist on caffeine. The man can out-damage most dedicated duelists while still throwing in some clutch heals, just not all the time. If you want to feel like the smartest and deadliest person on the map, Adam is your guy. Now let us talk about Magik, because if you see her name in the kill feed, there is a good chance it is your name right next to it, and not in a good way. Whether she shows up as Magik or her terrifying alter ego Darkchild, she is hands down one of the scariest flankers in the game right now. Her melee combos can delete heroes with 300 health points in the blink of an eye. Playing her is like being the villain in a horror movie. You sneak around, wait for the perfect moment, and then jump out with so much damage your opponent cannot even say, "Where did she?" before they hit the respawn screen. What makes Magik even more frustrating to deal with is her survivability. Thanks to her stepping discs for quick movement and her bonus health generation, she is much harder to take down than you would expect from a melee duelist. If you put the time into learning her abilities and those nasty combos, you can basically ignore the scoreboard and just enjoy the satisfaction of being the team's solo kill machine. Even if your team cannot buy a kill, you will be out there farming eliminations like it is your day job. And then there is Black Widow. Natasha Romanova is unique. She is the only sniper in Marvel Rivals who cannot one-shot with a headshot by default, which sounds like a deal breaker until you remember she also carries electrified batons for up-close fun. She is tricky to master because she requires both mechanical precision and a sixth sense for enemy movement patterns. But if you can land those headshots consistently, and you have a Mantis or a Storm giving you a damage boost, suddenly you are in one-shot territory for 250 health point heroes, which is still less than half the roster, but hey, it feels great when it happens. The catch with Widow is that she is not just about shooting from the same spot all game. If you camp, you are basically asking to get flanked into oblivion. The best Widow players are constantly on the move, taking weird angles, and making the enemy wonder, where is she now? Sure, her raw stats might not be top tier, but when you style on someone with a headshot from a ridiculous position, the dopamine rush is real. Honestly, these three heroes might be sitting in the C tier for now, but that is just the meta talking. Adam Warlock is a secret duelist in a strategist's clothing, Magik is the nightmare fuel of every backline, and Black Widow is a mechanical skill check disguised as a sniper. So, if you want to spice up your matches and give the meta a cheeky wink, pick one of these underdogs and see just how far you can push them. You might even make your enemies start checking the patch notes in disbelief. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, Venom, and Jeff the Landshark. Alright, let us be honest. When Captain America yells "Avengers Assemble" in Marvel Rivals Season 3.5, you know it is about to get loud. But here is the twist. He is not just holding the front line like some immovable wall. No, Steve Rogers is sprinting right past that line and setting up camp in the enemy's backline, being an absolute nuisance. Ever since those team-up anchor buffs with Bucky back in Season 2, Cap has been hitting harder, lasting longer, and generally being the patriotic headache nobody asked for but everyone has to deal with. Lead the charge, wave that shield, and remind everyone what freedom and a perfectly timed combo feels like. Then we have Spider-Man, who makes every other mobility hero feel like they are walking through molasses. You have not truly experienced Marvel Rivals chaos until you see a Spidey swinging so fast across the map that you start questioning the game's physics engine. He is the definition of a glass cannon, no real defense to speak of, but if he catches you in his sights, you are about to be webbed, juggled, and deleted before you can even say friendly neighborhood. His biggest strength? Turning enemy attention into complete panic while his teammates clean up the mess. But here is the catch with Spider-Man. He is not a hero you pick up and instantly master. Web swing is tricky, demands insane mechanics, and punishes you for sloppy aim or bad timing. This is the hero with the highest skill ceiling in the game right now, and that means the difference between looking like a superhero or looking like you are just doing parkour for fun. But once you master his kit, you will not be getting squashed like a bug. You will be the one squashing everything else. Next up, Hawkeye, the guy who proves you do not need superpowers to be terrifying. You just need a bow, a perfect shot, and the ability to make the enemy team play scared. A good Hawkeye can literally win a fight with one well-placed arrow. And trust me, that fear of being sniped from an off angle is real. His job is to lurk just far enough out of sight, fire behind cover, and punish anyone who dares peek the wrong way. The thing about Hawkeye is, there is no middle ground. Either you are landing headshots and carrying like a legend, or you are missing shots and might as well be waving at the enemy to come get you. There is no decent Hawkeye. There is only terrifying Hawkeye and why is he even here Hawkeye? If you want to be the former, your positioning and aim have to be sharper than his arrows. And then we have Venom, loud, fast, and absolutely relentless. This symbiote Vanguard might not babysit his team like some other frontliners, but that is because his very existence forces the enemy to focus on him. If they do not, he will devour their squishiest heroes before they can blink. His mobility is unmatched for a Vanguard, making him a nightmare in the chaos of solo queue. While Venom is amazing on his own, he becomes terrifying when he actually coordinates with his team. His goal? Get close, get personal, and stay in your face until you make a mistake. Against other Vanguards, he might struggle, but everyone else? They have to respect the symbiote, or end up as lunch. Speaking of unexpected threats, let's talk about Jeff the Landshark. On paper, he is adorable, bite-sized, and harmless. In practice, he is a surprisingly efficient strategist who can attack and heal at the same time, thanks to his Season 2.5 rework. His primary fire now lets him damage enemies and heal allies in the same moment, making him ridiculously versatile. Jeff can hang back and bathe his team in waves of healing, or he can go full Predator mode and chomp through the enemy's backline. The only catch? No real defensive ultimate. That means if you want to survive clutch situations, you need to get creative. Think environmental knockouts, surprise flanks, and using the map itself as a weapon. So while these heroes might not sit at the absolute top of the meta, they are pure fun and frustration rolled into one. Whether it is Cap rushing into enemy lines, Spidey turning the battlefield into his personal playground, Hawkeye keeping everyone's head down, Venom forcing panic, or Jeff proving cute things can kill, you will find that the B tier is full of heroes who can absolutely carry if you know how to unleash their full potential. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Human Torch, Black Panther, Ultron, Iron Fist, Squirrel Girl, Thor, Iron Man, and Hulk. Alright, let us set the battlefield on fire, literally, because we are starting with Human Torch. Johnny Storm is the kind of hero who does not make you choose between dominating in one-on-one duels or melting entire teams. He is greedy, he wants both. Grouped enemies? He turns them into walking barbecue with flame fields and flame walls, farming his ultimate faster than most heroes can reload. Single target? He chains every ability together and wins duels in the blink of an eye. And when it comes to area denial, whether you are holding a payload in Convoy or locking down a mission area in Domination, no one makes enemies back off faster than Johnny. Flame on indeed. Next up, Black Panther, the king of Wakanda and the king of surprise attacks. T'Challa's mobility is downright unfair, allowing him to leap into enemy backlines before they even realize they are being hunted. Combine that with his bonus health generation, and you have a hero who can survive deep in enemy territory without breaking a sweat. The catch? His dash reset is everything. Mess it up and you might as well start planning your respawn walk. But in the hands of a precise player, he can either solo eliminate priority targets or force the enemy to blow all their cooldowns in sheer panic. Then there is Ultron, the only flying strategist in the game, and he knows it. His long-range beam lets him chip away at enemies, while his passive healing keeps the team afloat. That said, Ultron is not perfect. His single-target healing is pretty underwhelming, and without his team-up synergy, he feels noticeably weaker. His ultimate also makes him a big glowing target, which is basically an open invitation for enemies to shoot you out of the sky. Still, his aerial presence and support capabilities can shift the momentum of a fight when played smart. Iron Fist brings the spirit of Shu Lao and a masterclass in martial arts to the battlefield. He is fast, acrobatic, and ridiculously self-sufficient thanks to his healing. The beauty of Lin Li's kit is that he can leap through the air, run on walls, and even challenge airborne heroes in close combat. His game plan is all about flanking and striking when the enemy least expects it, then slipping away before they can retaliate. While his basic mechanics are easy enough for new players, truly mastering him against high-level opponents takes patience, timing, and discipline. Exactly what you would expect from someone trained in Kunlun. And here comes Squirrel Girl, armed with a slingshot, an army of squirrels, and a level of chaos that should be illegal. Her exploding acorns can bounce off floors and walls, making her a nightmare to predict. This ricochet mechanic lets her play sneaky off angles where she can land hits without exposing herself to enemy fire. In tight maps like Clintar, Symbiotic Surface, she becomes an AoE damage machine. Against a single target, though, she is a little less reliable. Still, her ability to harass from awkward positions makes her a constant thorn in the enemy's side. Thor, God of Thunder, arrives to remind everyone that subtlety is overrated. He is a duelist with the health pool of a vanguard, meaning he can stay in the fight longer while still dishing out absurd damage. Dive-heavy enemy teams? Thor can crash into them with Mjolnir to scatter their plans. Stationary front lines? He simply ignores them and goes straight for the backline with Awakening Rune. He is not here to protect his team. He is here to delete threats before they even get close. The Prince of Asgard has one setting: aggressive. Iron Man may not be a literal god, but he makes up for it with technology, firepower, and style. Tony Stark's kit lets him switch between long-range suppression and close-range bursts of damage depending on the situation. While he can hover high above the battlefield, his slow aerial speed makes him an easy target, so good Iron Man players use cover to stay alive. His real ace is the overdriven Unibeam, arguably one of the most devastating abilities in the game. So he thrives at medium range where he can land it reliably without overexposing himself. Now for the green powerhouse, Hulk. He is the definition of jump in first, think later, leaping across the map to smash whoever catches his attention. His melee kit may seem limiting, but the sheer tankiness of his health pool gives him more room for mistakes than most heroes. The easy part is hitting things. The hard part is making those hits actually matter. Skilled Hulk players use positioning and timing to keep enemies where they can finish the job, rather than accidentally knocking them to safety. Human Torch's real charm is in his flexibility. You can set him up for AoE damage in teamfights, or gear him toward dueling key targets, and he excels at both. His zoning power is so oppressive that just his presence in an area can make enemies think twice about engaging. The fact that he can farm his ultimate so quickly means you will often have that extra burst ready exactly when your team needs it. Black Panther, on the other hand, thrives on pressure and precision. The rhythm of his fights is all about getting in, executing cleanly, and getting out without wasting his dash reset. If you land everything perfectly, you are a predator with endless territory. If not, you are cat food for the enemy. His ability to pull focus and drain enemy resources makes him a tactical asset, even when he is not racking up kills. Ultron's strengths come from his aerial dominance. While other strategists are bound to the ground, Ultron can rain damage and healing from above, forcing enemies to look up and split their attention. Just be careful. His ultimate may look flashy, but it leaves you dangerously exposed if the enemy is ready for it. Without proper coordination, Ultron can go from Sky King to Scrap Heap in seconds. Iron Fist plays the long game. He thrives in chaos but never loses control of his positioning. Even if he does not secure kills, the disruption he causes by darting in and out of fights can completely tilt the balance. Against flyers, his mobility makes him a rare melee threat who can chase them down. But make no mistake, success with Iron Fist is less about mashing buttons and more about knowing exactly when to commit. Squirrel Girl's map awareness is everything. If you place yourself in the right spot, her ricocheting acorns can shred grouped enemies without ever exposing yourself. But if you are too direct, her damage becomes predictable and easy to dodge. On cluttered maps, though, she is a bouncing, explosive nightmare. And those squirrels are not just for show, they are part of the chaos. Thor's biggest weakness is also his greatest strength. He is always in the thick of things. His lack of defensive tools for his team means he relies on pure offense to keep threats away. This makes him high risk, high reward. But when it works, it is devastating. A well-timed dive can turn a fight instantly, and few heroes can match the raw disruption he brings. Iron Man is all about adaptability. He can play the patient sniper or the close-range brawler, and his Unibeam ensures that any overextended enemy pays the price. The challenge is balancing his positioning so that he can maximize damage without getting focused down. A good Iron Man is a nightmare. A bad one is just a floating target. Finally, Hulk's transformation into Monster Hulk is the true test of skill. Anyone can slam the ground, but juggling enemies to keep them in kill range takes practice. The difference between a high-skill Hulk and a reckless one is whether you end fights in a smash or accidentally give the enemy a free escape. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Emma Frost, Blade, Psylocke, Magneto, Mr. Fantastic, Winter Soldier, Wolverine, Mantis, Penny Parker, Loki, Invisible Woman, Star-Lord, Moon Knight, Storm, Phoenix, and Hela. Alright, buckle up, because the S-tier heroes of Marvel Rivals Season 3.5 are absolute game changers, the kind of champions that make you rethink your whole strategy. First up, Emma Frost, the diamond-clad queen who can switch between her regular self and her tough-as-nails diamond form. She's a frontline menace with a lunge called Carbon Crush that's sneakier than it looks. Sure, she can't chase enemies or get to high ground, but put her in a duel with another Vanguard and she'll come out on top more times than not. Even with some nerfs in Season 3, Emma remains a powerhouse to watch. Now meet Blade, the Daywalker himself. This hybrid vampire hunter blends martial arts with anti-healing abilities that make even the toughest Vanguards crumble. With 2-dash charges that stack healing reduction for 7 straight seconds, Blade turns your health bar into a ticking time bomb. You can play him as a frontline pseudo-tank, or dive in with an ally to initiate chaos. But one thing's for sure, messing with Blade's healing means saying goodbye pretty fast. Psylocke sneaks in from the X-Men universe as a psychic assassin. Her game revolves around flanking and unloading her resources to secure kills before slipping away like the ninja she is. At mid-range, though, she's less effective thanks to her wide bullet spread and short dash range. If you want to dominate with Psylocke, mastering her combos and animation cancels is key. This isn't a hero for button mashers. Magneto, the metal-controlling mutant king, rules the mid-range battlefield like no one else. His shields and protection for allies are unmatched, and his mobility combined with bonus health lets him rotate smoothly around cover. He's especially deadly against ranged enemies, and can even outmatch Doctor Strange in melee fights. Consistent across all skill levels, Magneto is a solid anchor for any team willing to invest some practice. Mr. Fantastic stretches the limits, literally. Reed Richards boasts the highest health pool among duelists and thrives as a crowd control and damage mitigation tank more than a pure damage dealer. His medium to close range abilities and massive overhealth let him hold the front line with ease. Playing him means focusing on protecting your team and soaking damage, turning fights around with strategic positioning. Winter Soldier is the bionic armed assassin you want leading your charge. Bucky's 3-round pistol and reload passive make him a lethal duelist who thrives up close with his bionic hook and Trooper's fist. His hook forces enemies to rethink their positioning, often disrupting their entire game plan. With team-wiping ult resets and displacement skills, Bucky is a high-carry potential hero fitting seamlessly into many team comps. Wolverine is the classic X-Men claw machine that tears through Vanguards like paper. His Savage Claw attack scales with enemy max health, making him a nightmare for tanky foes. Sneaking behind a Vanguard to feral leap them into your team is one of the fastest ways to secure kills. Patience and positioning are Wolverine's best friends. Mastering his leap consistency turns him into a game-changing assassin who breaks enemy lines with ruthless efficiency. Mantis, the alien empath, channels life energy to boost her team's damage output and aggression. The only strategist offering damage boosts, she can turn fights by enabling her teammates to finish off foes. Small but deadly, Mantis shines when she lands her sleep abilities and scores headshots, which not only deal critical damage but also restore her resources. Don't let her 1-star difficulty rating fool you. She's one of the hardest heroes to truly master. Penny Parker might look cute with her webs and mines, but she's the trap master you don't want to underestimate. Her kit revolves around stunning enemies and defensive plays, with a spammable stun on a 3-second cooldown that can cancel enemy ultimates. Players with quick reflexes can single-handedly stop devastating enemy plays. Still, her offensive potential is limited compared to others, making her a wild card depending on your playstyle. Loki, the god of mischief, is the ultimate trickster. His kit balances healing and damage while adapting to his team's needs. Whether using clones offensively to pressure enemies or defensively to shield allies, Loki's positioning is critical and heavily dependent on the enemy's composition. Mastering his versatility and complexity lets you carry games by constantly adjusting strategies on the fly. Invisible Woman is the master of subtle control, protecting teammates with shields, healing, and crowd control. Her orb projection pierces multiple targets, making her a true backliner who wants to keep her allies safe and empowered. Sue Storm's seamless movement and defensive prowess make her the backbone of any team looking for survivability and support. Star-Lord's rocket boots make him a mobile menace, capable of quick flank attacks and sustained DPS. Peter Quill's element guns require sharp aim to get the most out of his kit, but his ultimate transforms him into a flying aimbot, turning even shaky aimers into deadly threats. Though vulnerable to snipers and anti-flankers, dedicated Star-Lord mains can outplay counters and dominate backlines with style. Moon Knight brings vengeance from Khonshu himself. He's the king of assassinating grouped enemies and farming ultimates off vanguards. High ground abuse with his grapple and cape lets him dominate maps, while his ultimate, accompanied by the ominous "The Moon Haunts You," strikes fear into foes. Though aerial enemies pose a challenge, mastering Moon Knight means haunting your enemies relentlessly. Storm, goddess of weather, commands wind, thunder, and lightning to devastate enemies. One of the few flyers, she controls the skies and buffs her team while blasting foes from above. Though her aerial movement is slow and she lacks an escape, her ability to access unique cover and unleash powerful area of effect storms makes her a terrifying presence. When her ultimate arrives, brace yourself for the hurricane of destruction. Phoenix is the fiery flanker everyone fears. With burst damage, mobility, and self-sustain, she stuns enemies from nearly infinite range with her telekinesis burst, a hard stun that can cancel even the strongest ultimates. Her ultimate, Endsong Inferno, obliterates shields and deployables with massive area damage, making her a natural counter to heroes who rely on those defenses. Facing a good Phoenix player means always playing on your toes. Last but certainly not least, Hela, the goddess of death herself. She dominates every season and test version of Marvel Rivals with her ranged hit scan and unrelenting damage output. Hela's primary fire boasts lethal range that lets her safely pick off enemies from afar. Mechanically gifted players thrive on her precision, while those who struggle with aim may find her frustrating to play. When mastered, Hela turns the battlefield into a death sentence for her enemies. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Rocket Raccoon, the Punisher, Namor, the Thing, Cloak and Dagger, Groot, Luna Snow, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch. Alright, let's dive into the S+ tier lineup of Marvel Rivals Season 3.5 with that casual, chatty vibe. Imagine we're just hanging out, breaking down why these heroes are absolute beasts you want on your squad. Starting off with Rocket Raccoon, the scrappy strategist who's basically a walking toolbox. This little guy can heal, drop armor packs, resurrect allies every 45 seconds, and his ultimate amps up your whole team's damage. Plus, his mobility means he's not just sitting behind cover begging for protection. Rocket's out there making plays. He's easy to pick up, but if you really want to climb the brain game ladder, mastering his movement and map angles will turn you into a geometry genius. Then there's the Punisher, Frank Castle, serving straight-up justice with a brutal shotgun, assault rifle, and turret combo. He's like that unbreakable wall of damage that enemies have to bash through. Shields mess with him a bit, but if you get creative, you can break through defenses with some slick positioning. His zipline gives some mobility, but don't expect it to be your getaway car every time. Usually, you'll see him hanging just off to the side of the fight, popping heads around barriers like a sniper who's also got a hammer. Namor, the Atlantean king, brings the ocean's fury with his turrets that track enemies. No flankers sneaking past him. His damage output especially shines against those beefy vanguards, firing off constant streams of pain. Positioning him in the thick of his team's defense is the sweet spot, where he protects his strategists while dishing out turret justice. Sure, his ultimate can be dodged, but combo it with crowd control, and you're looking at an easy team wipe. Next up, The Thing. Its clobberin' time isn't just a catchphrase, it's a promise. This rock-solid vanguard is immune to displacement, which means you can't just throw him around like the other heroes. His charge and slam combos toss enemies in the air, disrupting entire team fights. He's a bit of a hybrid, not quite pure frontline or dive vanguard, so playing him well means syncing up with at least one teammate to maximize that leap impact. Plus, he's arguably the best counter to dive-heavy comps. Cloak and Dagger come as a dynamic duo wrapped in one hero. Cloak handles the damage while Dagger heals, so you're juggling two very different playstyles and cooldowns. Usually Dagger is the healing workhorse, staying safe on off angles, throwing out auto-tracking heals. Cloak's got some damage, especially when landing his Terror Cape, which helps clean up fights after the chaos. It's a lot to manage, but super rewarding if you nail the rhythm. Groot, the Guardian's giant, literally shapes the battlefield with walls that block and control enemy movements. While he lacks mobility and direct protective skills, his damage and map control make him a solid pick in almost any team. He's that imposing presence forcing enemies to rethink their routes, making space for your team to work their magic. Luna Snow brings the chill vibes, and then melts her enemies with ice. She's got one of the best ultimates, combined with crazy high healing and a ranged stun, making her a staple in every meta shift. Luna's all about hanging back, healing her teammates, and farming that ultimate fast, especially when paired with steady vanguards like Doctor Strange or Groot. You'll rarely find a comp that doesn't want this K-pop superstar backing them up. Doctor Strange is your frontline controller, opening portals and casting ancient spells to hold ground like a boss. His Shield of the Seraphim not only protects himself, but also dictates the entire team's fighting zone, basically controlling the flow of battle. Not the fastest mover, but his damage ramp up and burst potential make him a great pick if you want to lead your team with a firm hand. Scarlet Witch, the Chaos Magic Queen, might seem easy with her auto-tracking primary fire and invulnerable movement, but don't be fooled. Her real challenge is in knowing when to phase in and out and make her medium-range attacks count. She shines best by shutting down enemy strategists, disrupting their plans. While she's often underrated and seen as low-tier, a smart player can still use Wanda to flip the script and take over games. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.